All right, so you guys are in luck if you're content junkies. I'm going to do a bonus episode today to reply to a comment. It was about some NASA sending a black man to the moon thing. This video is over 9 months old, and I'm just now getting back to the comment, but I wanted to address it. I got a minute before I do my little workout here on the mat, so this is really I only really respond to comments that interest me. So this is the case here, and I want to make sure that I'm actually reading this from a real person and not a like a robot AI responding to me. So follow with me here. This is my channel. I'm just going through it or whatever. I like to play my little videos from time to time. There's a story behind every video, but anyway, there's a video I made on here. It says 9 months ago. Okay, there it is right there. Okay, it's titled "Sending a Black Man to the Moon, Is It Mathematically Possible?" Now in that picture, that's apparently my cousin. He's a real black astronaut for NASA, right? You might see the resemblance in us in the side-by-side picture. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I made this video. It was only 2.5 minutes long, 1 year ago approximately. And in the video, I questioned, did people even really go to the moon, right? Because I'm looking at the moon from Macondo here about a year ago, right? So play the video if you want. It's only 2 minutes if you feel like it. But this video here today, I'm kind of answering a question with the question. I'm answering this top comment on here from 9 months ago. Now, I don't know if this fellow here, I have a question for you. The Semitic side of me wants to ask a question to get a question or whatever, right? So 2 questions. I answer 2 of your questions. You answer 2 of mine. My first 2 questions for you, sir, Mr. at BBOI1489. My first question, do you work for NASA? Okay. My next question, I want to say why, but that's not a well-defined question, so why don't we just leave it at question number 1 for now. Do you work for NASA? Okay. Please reply. Now I'm going to read your reply to me because this was interesting to me. I could actually read replies on the TV screen here. So Mr. B-Boy1489 says, regarding sending a black man to the moon, is it mathematically possible? Quote unquote. Great question, Shimmy. For one, they went back 6 times from 1969 to 1972. Really? Okay, let me not interrupt. They went back 6 times from 1969 to 1972 and are still reviewing the data today. Okay, so okay. As for a black man, segregation has been finished for a few generations now, giving ample time for someone of color to rise the ranks and become a high-ranking Navy officer considered fit for the job. Though we've got to remember this is the U.S. government, so appealing to the crowd isn't out of question. There's also been a lot of technological advancements since '69 in the seismic, astronomical, and every scientific field that will spelled G-U-V-E, purpose to the space program. For one is better understanding of thermodynamics, which will allow crew members to stay on the moon overnight and conduct more studies. Something avoided, there was a hyphen there, something avoided during the Apollo missions for hopefully obvious reasons. Many theories about the moon arose from the findings, and hopefully they can be proved or disproved with the next landings. There's also, I'm not sure if that's how you spell disproved, but also he says there's also the more honest reason, semicolon. Who uses semicolons? With more nations and private companies on the scene, a mission like this will help on a diplomatic scale as NASA, capital letters, NASA, works with foreign programs and small private companies. About the whole, quote, camparing, spelled Camparing, a cheap 1960s buggy to a multi-billion dollar space machine, end quote. You've get GIT to understand the Saturn V5 and lunar module were the peak of aerospace engineering, especially at the time. I'm sure it goes without explanation, spelled Explination, that a car made with minimal safety regulations and a rocket are two different things with different purposes. Remember, comma, this was the Cold War, comma, and the United States was researching the shit out of missiles and all that. In fact, comma, the Saturn series was actually considered for ICBM purposes, intercontinental ballistic missiles purposes, but never got around to it. Comma, if you've got any questions, comma, I'm happy to answer, but for the most part, that's all I've got. All right, Mr. at bboy1489, I'm giving you a thumbs up, but here, my question, man, do you work for NASA? Okay, how much are they paying you? I make a video what is 2.5 minutes? That's not even, what is that, like 100 seconds, minute and a half? I mean, come on, man. I make a 2.5 minute video just looking up in the sky saying, you know what, man, I don't think my cousin went up to the fucking moon. Get out of here, man. If they haven't, like I basically said in the video, if you play it back, maybe I'll play it back on the screen here. It's only 2.5 minutes long. All right. This is it right here. I'm looking out the window. I'll even mute it.
What's up from Thailand?
So I'm looking at, this is from my old, another condo from like a year ago. I'm looking up at the sky and just making a very plain observation about the night sky. Okay, that's why I question, like, hey man, do you work for NASA? How much are they paying you? Are you from the public relations department? You know, there's an acronym they used to say NASA. It's a meme. They would say NASA stands for never a straight answer. But it's most interesting, man. I have a theory that you guys just comb the internet. By you guys, I mean NASA. You comb the internet looking for any critic or skeptic that sounds like one iota credible, because the guy is my family member. I've met him at my family reunion. My kids' family met him. Mama introduced him, all that shit. Don't get me wrong. He's a great superstar in my family. I wish him all the best. I'm just saying, I doubted that they actually went to the moon, landed on it, turned around, came back, and all that in old 1960s like Volkswagen Beetle technology. Now you guys know that Volkswagen Beetles and Rabbits are piece of shits. They were well engineered for their time, but that's like the era that all this so-called space shit came out of, right? Can they go there now? It's probably more probable, likely, yeah. Because I have a theory, actually. My personal theory is like, if I could see something with my eyes, my naked eyes, like I'm pointing out in the sky here in the video, I'm pretty sure it's possible to go there. If you can see there, you could get there, right? You know, you guys can't even see the other so-called side of the world here, but you know it exists. But as long as something is visible, especially in the fucking sky, if you could see it without a telescope and just say, oh yeah, it's actually probably much closer than what people are telling you. That's all that I was implying. You know, I have a theory that the moon and the sun are closer than they tell you. In school, they told me that the earth right now, the earth I'm standing on this fucking exercise mat in my drawers, about to exercise, right? They tell me the earth is spinning at 1,000 miles per hour. Right now. This very moment. Just from the earth's so-called rotation or whatever. Right? 1,000 miles an hour, but it don't feel like we're moving. No turbulence whatsoever. It's been perfectly speed balanced and everything, right? That's fucking amazing to me. But I don't buy that because it's not logical. 1,000. Most of you guys freak out at 100 miles an hour. Can you imagine 1,000 miles an hour? Then the plane that I flew here on, a Boeing 787, is going. They have the in-flight thing. You can see the GPS. It goes about 500 miles an hour or whatever, right? That's a well-designed craft with no turbulence or whatever, right? Or minimal turbulence. 1,000 miles an hour. So the Earth is spinning twice as fast as the airplane that I'm in right now? How come when I look down, it doesn't look like it's going that fast is all that I was observing. It's just your theory defies logic, okay? You know, you guys just shouldn't have shown a nigga like me what a concept of speed is. You shouldn't have showed me what 400 or 500 miles an hour feels like. Now you can't tell me the Earth is going triple that. Come on, man. You know, you go, shit, nigga, you go 60 miles an hour on a motorcycle without glasses or sunglasses and your eyeballs start watering, man. Come on. Imagine that. Imagine 10 times that speed just with no eye protection. Give me a break, man. So anyway, this is that was by far the most interesting comment that I wanted to actually comment about. Yeah, man. I think you're a NASA employee or you're getting paid to, like, you know, respond to shit like that. I was curious about the first thing that fucked with me. I was like, maybe this is like an AI robot response and it's just like the internet's way of, you know, people having imaginary arguments with each other. They call that the dead internet theory, right? I don't have the time to go look up nigger's profile. Look at this little picture of a little cartoon character with a fucking cloud over his head frowning. I'm not only arguing with no cartoon ass niggas or whatever, right? But it's most interesting that I saw punctuation and semicolons. And when was the last time you seen a nigga use a semicolon when talking to you? That's my question there. That's a little too official or too robotic. And, you know, maybe there's some fake typos on there to kind of like throw you off. But I have a theory this is like either a NASA employee or a, what do you want to call that? A robot or whatever, man. It warrants a very long response, and I'm just curious. That's all I want to know, man. Are they paying you? Are you a robot? Who do you work for? You know, how can I get paid off this shit, etc. That's all. But that's very interesting that I make such a very short video and someone warrants that. Now, okay, now this guy also claims they went to the moon 6 fucking times in that old Volkswagen Beetle punch buggy. Okay, or what do they call that rover thing? The lunar rover he keeps talking about, or whatever. Piece of shit, you know. What do you want to call that? That's like a skeleton of a race car, barely a dune buggy or whatever. They sell them at Costco, man. Shit. You drove a fucking Costco go-kart on the moon. Now I've heard of some ridiculous shit in my day. But wow, man. Anyway, so, okay, excuse me. Once, I'm not even smoking now. This is just, I'm like, I can't believe the response. But I'm like, okay, so once you guys landed on the moon, okay, how did you take back off? Once you guys walked on the moon, I guess you packed up the car in the cargo bay or you left it there. Okay, how did you know you'd be able to take off from the moon without a runway? Or because from Earth, you have to have that construction crane tower shit. The whole brace thing to shoot you up all. You're not just standing free standing. Where from the moon do you get another rocket booster tank that you apparently dropped into the ocean on the way up? You guys left a spare one on the fucking moon to just like, who gassed it up for you? Who was there? You just gonna leave some solid fucking fuel? I'm not asking the important questions here. Did you leave an extra? Did someone come there before you and leave an extra gas tank for you? Who kept it at the proper temperature? All the fuel, all the all that rocket shit to blast you back off from the moon to there? Or was it more something like the shuttle was still orbiting and you guys like, you know, came down on a fucking rope or something? That would have been a more logical story for me to buy. Like, you know, you guys made it up to the moon, you know, you landed close to it and you just kind of hovered like a fucking helicopter over it and let the niggas down on a rope or something. While the shuttle was still like, I guess, coasting. I guess it's like orbiting or gliding. I don't know, man. That sounds like a much more pliable. I could see that happening in real life, or at least in a comic book, right? But what I can't picture is there's not a runway there. I'm going to walk away from this fucking phone before the Jews blow it up. Hold on. Okay. So, there's not a runway. This phone's on a tripod for a reason, nigga. So, look, there's not a runway on the moon. Okay, how did you guys know you'd even be able to safely land there? I've seen the like cartoon illustrations of the theory of landing, where apparently the shuttle was supposed to stand upright as is in takeoff position, and I guess these supposed retro rockets are supposed to slowly lower it safely down to the surface, kind of like some video of the SpaceX thing I've supposedly seen, right? That's just how I've seen it in practice or in theory, my own eyes. I've seen space shuttle launches while in Florida. You can't really miss them. Okay. I live near the Space Coast and all that shit, right? For as far as credibility, yes, my cousin is that astronaut nigga. Winston Scott, I believe his name is, or Willie Scott or something like that. But distant cousin, you know, I'm not super tight with him. I don't talk with him like that. So don't ask me no questions or whatever. But you can see the resemblance, right? And yes, it is true. I believe he said he was in the Navy. Most of the uncles and whatever in my family have been in the Navy as, you know, not combat fuckers, but like, you know, whatever the fuck, medics, or maybe they did base shit or munitions or something, but they weren't like soldiers and shit like that, you know, like that. But, yeah, man, all them fuckers work for them or whatever, right? So you know, it is what it is, man. It's work. Niggas need work. What do you want to say? I ain't gonna do it. They tried to recruit me out of high school. I wasn't with that shit. I'm not gonna be laying out in the middle of the fucking ocean on a carrier when I'm 17, 18. Man, shit, I should have went to college, man. You got a girlfriend. You know, nigga ain't got time for laying on a fucking boat doing that shit. Right? I wasn't with it. But yeah, there's a lot of like Navy people, cousins and uncles and shit in my own family. So astronauts too, apparently, and pilots and all kind of shit, you know. It is what it is, man. But that life ain't for me. But yeah, anyway, back to this comment thing, man. This guy left a motherfucker of a long-winded comment for just a very short, I would even say fun or lighthearted video that I made. That's why, again, you see, I say you went there 6 times. I only know of one. How come I only saw it on TV once or whatever? You know, maybe I should look this up and see for myself. I only asked a basic question. Sending a black man to the moon. Is it mathematically possible? That's all I asked. Okay? So anyway, y'all play the video if you want to. You know, and that's it, you know. Shit, you can't even, it's getting to the point now, government got you under so much surveillance, you can't even point your camera at the fucking sky and question shit. Where they send little motherfuckers out there to, hey, just vehemently argue the point too. Nigga, have you gone there? Are you an astronaut yourself? I mean, what stake do you have in my little ass channel that don't nobody fucking watch? Like, why do you care? Like, did like a fucking 100 people see the video? Like, shit, man. Talk about damage control. Touchy. Alright. I won't ask no more questions about the fucking moon. I'll just point my camera tripod up to the sky. My new phone here has apparently this like space zoom shit called 200x some shit. It's some super duper shit the crackers gave me before I left. But yeah, man, it's got a good quality zoom. You guys see me zooming in on birds and shit like that? Well, I'm going to do the night moon zoom setting. And I'm going to shoot this fucker up at the moon and we'll do a show about the moon. Because apparently I got this camera, I wanted the best possible zoom I could get or whatever. So next time there's a good clear night, once these storms and shit go away, living by the beach or whatever. So when the sky clears up and it's a good night, I'm gonna put the tripod out there just like a telescope, and we're gonna talk about the moon and observe it. And you know, this shit's apparently that I got is so good you can see the surface of it and everything. So it can't be that fucking far away. Now I don't believe the sun's 93 million miles away, nor do I believe I'm spinning at 1,000 miles an hour right now. I question it all. That's your question. The next time niggas get pulled over for speeding or whatever, just tell the guy, hey man, the earth is spinning at 1,000. How you gonna, you know, shit. All right. Anyway, that's the video, y'all. That's my cousin, my folks, family. But yeah, that's what happens when you question NASA. Never a straight answer. All right, I'm out of here. Enjoy the day.